Oh, the little voice said we're now recording and it's all in progress.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and get going with this class. I want to welcome you all to, I believe you're here to learn the tune Wellyn. And Wellyn is a tune that I wrote probably 52 or 3 or 4 years ago. And as a young man, I'd done all the fiddling around with the, Appalachian type stuff. I learned the two-stop chords. I learned to play on one side of the instrument was the same as playing on the other. I learned that you could play them both together. Then sitting outside with my friend Al Dache out in Cornwall Bridge, Connecticut, for some reason, I guess the next level of experimenting for Dulcimer was to, I don't know, if I could do a single string in all its places, do 2 stops and 3 stops. How about the bar? And so just fooling around for about 2 hours that one spring afternoon, this tune, and I guess that's probably true for any kind of songwriter or any kind of person in a creative mode, whether you're a painter or a sculptor or a folk dancer. All of a sudden, there's just something starts happening, and you start following it. And so I began experimenting with these full bars, and the full bar meaning simply what a bar is. It's spelled B-A-R-R-E. Is that instead of having chords that are configured in different ways, you are actually just barring. Okay, just a bar chord, and it's come associated with, in a sense, like power chords, because there's no additional element. There's only that root, a repeat of that root, and the fifth. So as a chord, it's strong. Wait a minute, I got a prop for this. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm 20 years old, and I'm hanging out. I'm having a good time. Anyway, the idea that the music that certainly surrounded me at that time as a fledgling folk musician, still I cut my teeth on rock and roll. I mean, rock and roll was if anything sort of the folk music, if you will, of our era, and of my era in particular. It was literally folk rock. A lot of the groups of the era basically took folk type tunes and just put some power chords behind it. So I don't know, I can't really claim that that's what I was thinking, but I do and can and will name them as influences, that after you've gone down a certain way and you've done Michael Rowe the Shore and Flop-Eared Mule and Kicked Out Chicken and few other things that have influenced us personally, I went back essentially to my roots, and part of it was experimentation, and part of it was finding my way to an internal music. And before we start on Wellyn, I want to say that what I developed by learning to play Wellyn for myself was, it became fundamental to my playing style for the next 50 some odd years. So, and that is that the use of the bar chord, and we'll get into how it works for you, but the use of the bar chord means that without a capo, I can play in all these different positions. I've never used a capo because I can never think just give away all the rest of the notes that are down there. If I just use it essentially a bar as a moving capo, then I have access to all of those other notes. So if I'm playing in E minor, or I'm playing in G, or I'm playing in A, all I'm doing is I'm able to move that bar chord up to the configuration where most people would be putting on a capo in order to play in that key. So, but that's much later. That came much later. What came first was just the experimentation of finding what people would call a power chord. Okay? And that power chord, and then moving it, because that's one thing. But the other side of me as a dulcimer player, the dulcet tones, truly, the dulcet tones. And so going from a heavy to a really light, you know, so the idea that you can juxtapose this kind of heavy pounding beat and then just back away and dance lightly on the edge and then come back to it and then find another way to dance on the edge. And that's what we will do together today. We'll pound out a little bit of rock and roll beginnings and then dance on the edge. So the dulcimer for Wellyn is tuned to what we then called a D mixolydian. D meaning all the notes were in D, mixolydian meaning it was an open tuning. And you'll notice on my dulcimer there's no extra frets. There never has been any extra frets. If I need an extra note, I just find it and push up and find it that way. But that's just who I am. Some of you are learning differently and have different styles. And every style is a good style. So, for the dulcimer. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the pick. Now, I'm not a fan of what people call the Herdem picks. I want a strong pick. And so I have a couple of them here, just to show you what's going on. And these picks, you know, are basically solid. If I try to bend that pick, I'm pushing down really hard. Well, I can't bend it. If I had a thinner pick, there was one up here a minute ago. I don't know. It's somewhere around. If I had a thinner pick, let's just use a card. If I had a thinner pick, I could do this to it. Okay? And so a thicker pick that you can hold lightly gives you the same effect as a thin pick. It just, because you're holding it lightly, it brushes easily. But if you hold it tight, it resists the strings, and you get that extra punch. So I encourage you, if you're looking at your style and you're playing with a thin pick, it's because that thin pick is easy for you. It forgives and it bends. You know, it's like, okay, but take the next level. And the next level says, get a thicker pick, one that doesn't bend, and learn to let it bend in the grip of your fingers rather than itself flipping, okay? Because that means that you can dig into a tune. I can make it pop because that pick doesn't bend, okay? So anyway, that's my pick story. I hold my pick in an unusual manner, and the real reason for that is I didn't know any better, okay? A lot of people hold their pick this way, you know, and to me, that was off-centered. So by moving it to the middle finger, all of a sudden, being in the middle of my hand gave me much more ability, and it was like more balanced. And it had the added bonus that if for some reason as I was playing, the pick started to turn, I would just let it turn, okay? And if I needed a stronger note, I would bring my fingers down so that I could hold the pick like that. If I needed an even stronger way of holding it, I would rotate my hand like this. And so basically, you know, these different ways of holding that one pick lightly and tightly give you the ability to work through the nuances that can be found in a song such as Wellyn. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to play an open strum. And then we're going to come down and close that strum off. Okay, notice that I'm not strumming on that second time. It's not da-dum, it's da-dum, da-dum. Should be able to make a sound without having to hit it. So whether you can do it or not, just get that idea in your mind that what you want in this case is it is the hammer-on effect that gives you that initial ba-dum that drops you into the song. So we're going to go open, close it off, bar up to 3, and then go to a D chord, which is a 2-3-4 configuration. So open, close the 1, slide to the 3, 2-3-4. Open, close to the 1, slide to the 3, 2-3-4. Okay, and it's the bounce that you get from that ba-dum that gives you the initial. It's kind of like, remember a double Dutch. Okay. You need that in order to get into the song. You need that that little double hop step. There we go. Da-dum, dum, ba-da-da-da-da. One more time. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Again. Ba-dum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Last time. Da-dum, dum, ba-da-da-da-da. Now what we do is we take that same phrase and we just change the timing on it just a little bit. And it now it sounds like this. So first one and then the second one. Well, second one. Da do da da do da da do. So the first time ba boom ba boom ba boom. The second time through we're on the offbeat ba doom ba doom ba doo. So you'll get it in your head. And I know it's all written down and there's notes and it's been performed and written and codified a number of ways, but this is your chance to hear it the way I hear it. And so we'll just work on the easy first fundamentals. So first it's again. One more time. Last time. Now we got to get out of that. We call this the A part. I call it the A part. So listen first. It holds and then repeats. And then the tricky ending. Okay, so that Washington Square beep ba ba doom, you're barring the 3, you're barring the 2, you're up on the open, and then you're closing back down on the 1. So you've got that. Let's try that. We'll try it slow. It's the 3, 2, 0, 1. Slower again. 3 bar, 2 bar, 0, 0, 1. But you got to give it that little jam. Of course. So it's da 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 do, da 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 do, da 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 do. Take it from the top then. Da bum 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 ba da 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 ba bum 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 bum. Hold. Ba-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da. Here it comes. Ba, bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, bum. One more time then. Da-dum, bum, 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 ba-da-da-da. Ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-dum, bum. Ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-da-da. Bum, 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 ba-ba-bum, bum. Okay, and here's the fun spot. During that hold on that D on that 2-3-4 on that 2-3-4 configuration when you're holding, and in that hold, da 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 da, bend the middle finger. I have to get in the light here. Where's the light? Come on, light. You can hear this. So watch my middle finger. Watch this finger. I'm going to put it in context for you, and you can hear why that pause works. Okay, so let's try that bend together. You're in a 2-3-4 configuration. You're going to strike, and then during the ring out, you're just going to pull that middle finger toward you, and then push it back. So it's not just towards you. It's towards you, and then back to where it's supposed to be. So you get the. Okay, so let me see. Maybe it takes you a while to get that. No, it doesn't matter. It's a taste, it's a touch, it's an embellishment, it's a nuance, and it's way fun. And you'll get it if you haven't gotten it yet. Don't worry, that's where it lives, and you'll find it eventually. So here we go. That opening part. Ba-dum, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-dum, bum, ba-ba-da-bum. Practice that one time. Here we go again. I think I'm going to slow it up pace. 1, 2, ready. Okay, we're going to let that first part percolate and rest and get you away from the full bar, because the next part is not really a full bar. I mean, it's kind of a full bar because even when I'm playing, so yes, my configuration is what, 6-6, 6-6-8. But even though my configuration is here, there's two important things to notice. Now, obviously, I play differently than you've probably seen a lot of people. I don't use my thumb, which is a misnomer, because I use my thumb back here, like a guitar player does. I am grabbing my instrument. My instrument is actually being held by the grip that I have on that back. Now, some people are doing that and they're getting that same effect by pushing down on their lap, and they get this extra latitude with their thumb. I just never grew up nor discovered that anybody played with their thumb until many years after my own style had sort of manifested itself. So I'm able to come up here, and when you'll notice I got up here in order to give myself a little extra help, my little finger comes down and adds an extra bar. You see, so this finger here, I'm lifting this finger up and so it's out of the way. Normally you'd just be hovering here, but it's out of the way now. So I'm just helping to bar so I have a stronger, because I like those notes to pop. I want them to be clean. I want to be right behind, right where the edge of the fret is both times. And the closer you are to that edge of the fret, the crisper the sound is. Back here, it's just not. So you want to get right on top of those frets. So after we've done da-da-da-da, and then we've done off that, it jumps up to that basically a C position, and the C is a 6-6-8. And then you have this whole series of grace notes. So it goes ba, ba, slides down, bum, ba, ba, slides down, bum, ba, ba, slides down, bum, and it goes back to that D. Okay, so what we're doing is we're up here, and we're starting with that bar in 6. That gives me a bar C. It'd sound like this, except that I'm adding the grace note, and then reaching over and doing a grace note there. Here's my chord, grace note, slide the whole thing down, and grace note, slide down again, and grace note, slide down. And instead of a grace note, we go back to our D, our root. So let's take that. I'll try to do it slowly. We're going to bar on the 6, and I don't know, some of you are doing this and you're doing your grace notes. Some of you are doing this maybe, and you got those 3 strings to control, and you're grace noting with your thumb. I can't do it, but some of you can. Once again, it doesn't make any difference how you get there. You hear something in your head, you find the way to get there that works. So bar 6 and grace note, slide down to the 5, and the grace note to the 4, and the grace note to the 3, and the bar and the D chord. One more time. Barring 6, adding grace note, sliding the whole thing down 1 fret, down, and adding the grace note, and down, and the grace note, and then down and to the D. Last time, here we go. Notice that I've got all 3 of them. It was a kind of a rule I discovered years ago, many years ago. Oh gosh, look at that white hair. Anyway, is that since I play on a diatonic instrument, to me, if the chord that I was trying to make spanned a small fret, I filled it in. If it spanned a big fret, I left it open. And it sounds like that because of it. Listen. So what I discovered inadvertently in terms of way of playing was that if that little fret is there between the spread of my fingers, I fill it in. So when we're doing this, it's 6 and the grace nut. Slide down to 5, 6, 7 configuration. And the grace note, slide down to 4, 4, 6. And the grace to the 3, 3, and the chord. I will do it really, really slowly one more time. Barring on the 6. Last time. This is the fun part. You pull off that low D, that 2, 3, 4, just don't just lift off it, pull off, because that gives you the springboard to drop back down. So you got. Okay, whether you get it or not, don't worry about it. These are performance nuances that if you're sitting in a room full of Dulcimer players playing this, you know, 6 might have it, but you'll never hear it anyway. So the question is, when you're playing, can you hear it? So basically, it goes back to the A part. So we got that A part, which repeats twice, and you go to the B part, which repeats twice, and then it goes back to the A part, which repeats twice. So we're going to do that whole sequence. So if you're looking at your notes, don't. A twice, B twice, A twice, and then we'll take on the third element of it. 1, 2, ready. Bar 6. Repeats, bar 6. Back to A part. So let's stop there. In different versions, sometimes that A part gets repeated twice, sometimes it doesn't, but it doesn't really matter as long as the people you are playing with or who you're playing for yourself. They're fungible in that way. You can add that extra A, but you don't necessarily need to. Okay, the C part. The C part is actually 2 different parts, and I can only teach you my part. My partner on that day, Al Dache, he was in the front yard of that same house in West Cornwall, Connecticut, writing a tune called writing a tune called Cornwall, and as I was in the front writing the Wellyn tune. Then when we came together, we both contributed a part to each other's tunes, and so the part that he contributed, literally, I can't play, but it's so great that people who have learned it out of the Pack Rim Songbook or out of my stuff online, and they learn that tune because it is an extended harmony. This is a 2-part Dulcimer tune. It needs 2 dulcimers to really do it justice, because the A part and the B part they go together. They're simultaneously. The whole thing is based on that power structure. Everything is dancing together. But when it gets to the C part, as you'll see as it goes, when it gets to the C part, all of a sudden it spreads, and both dulcimers are contributing something to the spread of that melody, and it is perhaps even gentler than the B part. So that strong part, gentle B, strong A, gentler C, and the C is, for my part again, is to bar 5, or at that point you're on A B, so you're barring that fret, and I'll play it for you so you get an idea. I'm sure you've heard it a bunch of times, but da, so the C part doesn't have a second C part, A, B, B, A, C, okay? And so mostly it's done with the barring that one. Your grace notes again. Now that's an interesting outline, because instead of just popping up to a grace note, you've got the grace note, come down here, and you do. Add a few more fills where you're rolling up to that where we had the grace note. So instead of coming up to the grace note and down, you're going up to that spot and then grace noting your way down. So listen to it. I'll see if I can hold this up, and I'll stand up. Maybe it'll help it. Okay. Is there any light on it there? That's funny. That won't work. I have to stick my belly out like that in order to get the light to shine without changing it. So let's try it this way right here. So now to bar 3, to the 4, to the 3, to the 4, pull off and... Okay, so some of you may already have this technique. If you don't have the technique, put it in your hopper of things to kind of fold in at some point. After many years of playing it as a strummed tune, I found out that I could make those B and C parts pop a little better when I was using a sort of a modified flat picking, or what I call the Dulcimer roll. And I have a whole class on this later on during these sessions, but just for now, just to give you an idea, what the Dulcimer roll is when I'm playing my string, I play the one string away from me, and I roll over, and I play the second string toward me, and the third string toward me, and I'll start it again just so we don't get in confusion. I play that first string away, I play that bass string back up toward me, I play the middle string up toward me, and the first one away again. And so in a 4/4 song, what's happening is this rolling that I'm doing through gives me a delicate way to accent the notes that I want within the song, just by using that one simple technique here. And it may seem, and nowadays, literally, it's hard for me to play a song without doing it, because I just don't think about it. If I want a little tinkle, 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 then that tinkle comes in. So here's what it would sound like in that C part. So I got the D, 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 and then as a break, just opening it up once again. That's from the bass. Okay, so once again, and don't get confused, I'm probably a bit confused already, but don't get confused by the nuances of the song. The performance of the song, and most people are going to play on that 4/4 beat, and they're not going to bother to bend that note, and it's not going to go dinkle, 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 but that's okay, because the song goes forward without it. But just be aware that there are sort of these subtle changes and improvements. I don't know if those of you that went out and actually watched or listened to some of the podcast type things I recommended, but the song is so basic, it can be opened up in so many different ways. So let's try that C part again. We're going to bar on the 5. Ready, and down, 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 and strum and down to the 4, and strum and back to the 5, and the grace note 4, and the 3, and then the 4, and the 3, and the 4. Pull off and hammer. Here we go. So we'll do the third part one last time, then we'll start to put all of this together. I'm going to start on that 5, and this time I won't do the I won't do the diddly 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 stuff. I'm just going to stick with a straight up and down strum. Okay, that's the place. That's the place where it starts. That's the place where it lives. The other stuff is just how you feel that morning. Okay, here we go. Starting on the 5th fret with a bar. And the grace note 4, and the grace note the 5, and the grace note the 4, and the grace and the 3, and the 4, and the 3, and the 4. One more time. Here we go. 5. Here comes the jarring A part. Okay, you're going to get lost, I'm pretty sure of it, but maybe some of you won't. Let's just play it all the way through, and then I'll show you the tricky fun ending, and then we'll go at it again. 1, 2, ready. Repeats. Bar 6. Repeat 6. Back to A. C part, bar 5. 4. 5. 4. 3. And the 4. And the 3. And the 4. Pull off A part. Okay, so that's the first time through the song. The second time, I don't know how or why, but it works. It's stood the test of time. The second time through, the A part gets left off. And so all of a sudden you're transitioning from that B part to the C part. And so the two tinkly parts, if you will, are coming together without that harsh E minor backbeat. So we're going from a major to a minor. We got that minor chord, da, 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 and then up here, da, 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 you know, two little major parts together, before it ties back down to that E minor A part. So what we're going to do this time, rather than trying to throw that A minor, we're going to start on the bar 6, which is our B part. And after we finish the 2 times through the bar 6, we're going to go to bar 5. In other words, we'll do B part, C part. This time we're leaving out the A. So here we go. We're on the B. And the B part starts on the 6. 1, 2, ready, and la dum da, and da da da, dee da da, ba ba ba, da da da, da dee da da, da da dum da dee, da da-da-dum. Now bar 5, 4, I, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, A part. Okay, stop there. So basically you have all the elements except the very last one, and that's the ending riff, which is essentially just like the other ones, only different. It has a tricky ending. So on your notes, what you have here is we're doing what we're playing right now is A, B, B, A, C, A, B, B, C, A. And some of those parts are fungible. Like I said, you can move them around, but for the purpose of repetition, we'll do it this way. So in other words, except for the first time around, we're not going to play the A part twice. And in the second time through the song, we're going to essentially leave it out totally. Here's the ending of the song. The ending goes, you go, you know this part already. Here it goes. I'll do it again. If I stop and think about it, I can't do it. It's such a motor memory. So anyway, you're doing that whole series of bars. You'll find them. They're 5s, they're 4s, they're 6s. We'll do it slow motion one last time. First the complete A part. Here we come. Again. So it goes. Goes to the 5, which is your 5th note. Okay. Here we go. Barring 5 and barring 7. Okay, you'll make it through. Don't worry. And the last thing is that the last chorus. I mean, I told you, Al Dache went one way on this, and I went another way. One of my favorite press reviews of he and I back in those days is that Force and Dache are the masters of accidental harmony. He would go this way, I would go that way, and somehow miraculously on the beat, boom, there we be in resplendent harmony on the resolve. So what was happening was that I would be in I'm on that power chord number 1, and he's up here on sort of the delicate 5, and so you're getting this spread between the 5 and the 1. And after years and years of frustration with no longer being playing it by myself, I discovered a way, and this probably is not in any of your notes, I discovered a way to end it with, so the last note is actually written as 5, 4, 5. Look at that weird configuration there. 5, 4, 5. And it is basically a combination of that 1-1-1 and that 5-5-5 that gives you, as the tune should end, not in a finale. It needs to end with a suspension. It's our suspended chord. So put your finger on that bass 5 and middle 4 and treble 4, 5, 5-4-5, and if you pull up as opposed to down, you get that gentle suspension. So instead of, like I say, instead of adding on this fierce bombastic, it comes with this this light suspension. So we'll try that. Okay, it's going to be a while. It took me a while to get out of this bar and line into that, because you're going da 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 da. Let's try that slowly together. Da 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 5 da 7 ba ba ba. One last time. Ba bum 3-2-0 5-7-5-0 1-3-2-0 suspension note. Suspension note. One last time. 1-3-2-0 5-7-5-0 1-3-2-0 suspension note. Okay, dear friends, we're going to try it all the way through. Now, all the way through. Now, I'll try to keep it slow, because obviously you can just blast your way through this song, and that's really fun. And you know, but you can also delicately pick your way through the tune, and it's a love song or it's a get your yah-yah out song, whichever way you choose to approach it. By the way, Wellyn is an abbreviation. My family roots on my father's side come from Wales, and so I literally named the tune after myself. I shortened, my middle name is Lewis, and in Welsh it'd be Llewellyn, and I just shortened it to Wellyn. So if anybody asks you where it came from, well, it's actually short for Llewellyn, from the Welsh for Lewis. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, okay. If you haven't written it down, we're gonna. I'll just call them out. They won't get caught by surprise. We got 2 A's the first time. That's the only time 2 A's are going to exist together. Okay, and the second time through, we'll get that 1 A, then we go to the B, and then the C gets in there instead. 1, 2, ready. Bar 6. A part. C part, bar 5. A. B part 6. C part 5. A. Here comes the ending. You know, as I was doing that, it reminded me of it didn't remind me. I said, like, oh, I forgot to tell them this. And of all the little embellishments that I've offered that you could learn, like the flat picking and the bending of the note and the this and that, there's one actually very easy, simple trick that I use, and that is using what I call the inner grace note. So if I have that D formation, I can just move that finger up and down, and I am moving the fifth of that tune around, and then I bounce my hand, okay, and that it just gives a little staccato. So I'll play that. Most of that shows up in the B part. So I say, watch my hand and watch for the bounce, and watch for this finger doing this. Okay, so. That's just a little finger. I'm in that chord, except that instead of adding my grace notes up here, I'm. So hands coming up, and it's just stopping some of that ring. I'll go back to that 6 again. Now this one, when I go back to that one, I'm keeping my hand. So remember, we went to 6, and then I go to that D formation that down here on the next note, and I'm bouncing that middle finger. But when I slide down to the next one, I'm keeping that forefinger on the C, on that skinny fret, and I'm bouncing the other 2 fingers. Listen to it again. The gut. So your lead finger or thumb, whatever it is that's holding the melody, is nailing that note, and your trailing fingers are bouncing on the strings, and that's, in my mind, what gives it an interesting and unusual lilt, done effectively with little effort. In fact, I used to call this finger yoga because I use so many bar chords that your hand can become fatigued. So if it's not needed, I just let go. My whole hand just stops in the chord, because if I'm not strumming it, I don't need to be having a death grip, on that chord. When you let up on it, it helps take away some of that incessant, lovely, and so beautiful, but sometimes so annoying, constant ringing that the dulcimer is doing, particularly if you're playing with 5 or 6 other people. Oh my gosh, just lighten up one more time. All you gotta do is just stay in that chord and lift your fingers ever so lightly off it. It's gone. So it's not tuck on to the last one. Let me double check our time here, see where we're at, so I'll make sure. Oh gosh, we got plenty of time. We managed to get through that, and oh no, we didn't. We had about 2 or 3 minutes left. So yeah, we have 4 minutes left. So let's see if there's anything else I want to add to that. How you hold that pick. Get a stiff pick. To paraphrase Teddy Roosevelt, play softly but carry a thick pick. And you will be amazed that the amount of difference that it will make in your playing style. And this whole Wellyn, not only is it fun to play, it's a great jam tune, at least that has proven to be so over these many years, but it also opens up several portals of opportunity. Number one, it's a song which combines a powerful minor key with 2 fragile, sort of almost incomplete major keys, where it just goes up and tinkles. And yet by alternating back and forth, it creates a tension that finds its, in a sense, non-resolve in that suspension of the last note. And as a playing technique, this idea of learning to bar means that you can play in any position, at any time, in any key. The whole thing modulates to A, why, there you are, you're in an A. If it modulates to C, why, there you are in a C. So this idea of having a bar, because if I'm in C, mind you, after I've established a C, I don't need the rest of it. Because the C and the G, I only have to, I call it batting the tetherball. Remember, we've all played tetherball, and some kids get out there and they go whap, 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 and the ball goes like this, and you never see it again. But all you have to do is just give that chord a swat every now and again when it starts to need it. Don't swat it every time, and that leaves the room for all those other things. And you'll see what I'm doing is by holding that, I'm a portable what are those? I'm a portable capo, and so you will find that however you achieve this, whether you're a thumb player or a underneath player or over the top player or grip it like I do, you'll find that this idea of the bar chord as a portable capo gives you the chance to keep what I like to think of as the ringing notes of the instrument, because there is no stuff going along in the background. There's this, everything is beating because da dee dee doo ba do ba da doo da dee 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 dee. When I'm doing that dee 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 dee, I'm not playing everything. Okay, so my words of advice: find a stiffer pick, learn to use it, hold it gently. Use that bar chord experimentally to find other places in your playing that will enhance that technique, and try this roll, this idea, because when I play the dulcimer, I'll play through. It's one last time. Probably have just enough time to play you the song the way that I hear it, and you can play along if you like. But let's see what we got here. There was a song in there. Where are we at? Okay, it's right at noon. So here we go. you so much. I hope you're able to come away with something and have fun with the tune and expand it. And once again, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Any questions? Any last minute pieces you want to add here? Well, okay.